The first stage of the 2025 Dakar Rally is done and dusted, and it was a very dusty day. Join me as I talk through each of the different categories before wrapping up with a little bit of a discussion about where the Dakar is going to be going next from here, because we've got the 48-hour chrono up next. In the car class, and the talk of the day was GPS. Because unlike in regular rallying, when you end up having pace notes because you can recce it, the route is published on the day for the Dakar, meaning that you only get the instructions of at this kilometre you turn to this heading. And it's so that people can't prepare, so that people can't practice. It's one of the natures of rally raid. Typically you will have things like tracks to follow as well, but that's not necessarily the case. And in the car class today, it was the big story for two particular competitors. One of them was Nasser Al-Attiyah, who said that his co-driver Edouard Belanger had issues when it came to navigating himself through. Apparently they also lost time with Puncher. But the other pairing that ended up losing out was the new to the car class, Toby Price and Sam Sunderland, who said that they had to turn off and turn back on their GPS before getting to the end of the stage. In the end, the winners of the car class for the day were Toyotas. It was Seth Quintero, and Quintero beat Gerlan Shishiri in the new petrol Mini by 45 seconds. The podium for the day rounded out by Variawa in another Toyota Hilux. Kazoo Racing entered entry. The top 5 is rounded out by Martin Prokop and Cristina Gutierrez, who was the lead Dacia. Like I said, Al-Attiyah lost a lot of time. He ended up losing 11 minutes on the day. Supposedly a puncher harmed them a little bit more later on as well. While Sebastian Loeb was 12 minutes 16 down in 24th place, behind some of the fastest of the Challenger cars. And speaking of the Challenger class, Cavagliasio ended up taking the scratch by 4 seconds over Guerriero, with third place being Abdulaziz Al-Khawari. The 2024 Middle East Rally Championship champion ended up 9 minutes 58 off the pace. The top 5 was rounded out by Al Saif and Leverton, the winner of yesterday's prologue, who was 15 minutes and 25 seconds off of the lead. And yesterday we talked about how if something goes wrong early on, it can really go wrong. In the SSV class, we saw that today, because Yassir Seydan is out of the Dakar. Ended up being out after only about 100 kilometres or so on today's special. But the winner was Javier de Soltrite by 7 minutes 35 over Chaleco Lopez, with Hager in third, 12 minutes 40 off the pace. And in terms of other drivers that struggled, Sarah Price was an hour 17 off the winning time today, in a stage that was just under 5 hours. Now, it doesn't mean it's all over yet, because again, this is a 400 kilometre special. It's one of the shorter specials. It's in the shorter kind of half of specials in the Dakar this year. But it does mean that there is still a lot of work to do, and hoping for bad luck for your rivals over the course of the rest of the event. And in the trucks, Mitchell van den Brink ended up taking the win by 1 minute 40 over Ale Laprai, with Maciek in third, 2 minutes 29 back. Top 5 is rounded out by Soltis in the Tatra, 8 minutes 18 back, and Zala, 22 minutes and 27 seconds back. This top 3 are going to be competitive over the course of the event, and don't rule out someone like Soltis either. It's surprising to see the other van den Brink down in about 30 minutes off the pace, but again, it's only the first day of the Dakar. Things can change very quickly. And in fact, that is something that's quite telling for Maciek. Like, the MM Technology entry has tuned a bunch of Ivacos this year, and you've got the difference between the De Roy entered ones and the MM tuned ones. And you see that on the podium. Van den Brink and Maciek are in the MM tuned ones. Laprai is with De Roy. And let's round out with the bike, starting with Rally GP, which rounded out the top 12 of the field today. Chucky Sanders ended up getting the scratch from Ricky Brybeck by 2 minutes and 4 seconds, with Roch Branch in third, a further 22 seconds back. We have also had our first 2 withdrawals from the Dakar on the first test. Bula, who was 11th on the prologue yesterday, and Noah, who is another W2RC competitor with the Sherco entry. The top 5s were rounded out by Skylar Howes and Sharena, who was 4 minutes 42 off of the winning time. Luciano Benavides picked up a 2-minute penalty, whilst Inacho Chrono ended up getting 5 minutes 35 back, and Micek in the KTM picked up a 6-minute penalty on the day. And in Rally 2, perhaps unsurprisingly given the amount of them that are in the field, it was KTMs across the podium today. Ebster picking up the scratch from Cane by 1 minute 43, with Engel in third, 4 minutes 1 off the pace. The top 5 are rounded by Therick on the Cove factory entry, 4 minutes 30 back, and Lucci on the Honda, 7 minutes 26 behind. And before we end for today, a bit of a preview for tomorrow and Monday's test, because that'll be the next time you hear my report from the Dakar, the 48-hour chrono test. What this is a stage split across 2 days. Riders and drivers and crew will have to park up at one of, I think, 6 designated points throughout the stage. Typically, they line up with things like kilometer points as well and checkpoints. And then they can go again the next day. So it benefits you to do well, but you can't go past a curfew. So once you hit a certain time, if you hit that next checkpoint, that's where you have to stop. They don't want you out too late in the desert, and it then means you get up nice and early the next day to go again. So I will see you on Monday for the report from the 48-hour chrono test. Thank you so much for watching and joining as always, and I hope to see you again soon for more. Until next time, it's bye-bye for now.